Jai Maharaj, Hare Krishna. Obeisances to you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. How are we doing?
Happy to see you. Are you stocked with a kirtan band on site there?
Am I stocked with a kirtan band? Everybody's shaking their heads no. These things are going on.
What can be done?
Kirtan band.
All right.
Okay, hold on a second. We have a kirtan band, right?
I can.
Okay.
Jai.
With the encouragement of your Kirtan Standard book, that anyone can read Kirtan?
Excuse me?
With the encouragement of your Kirtan Standard book?
Okay. See if I get you here. There you go.
Okay. I can play either of these. Is there a preference?
And give me the cartridge. Although maybe I'm too close to the microphone.
10 minutes? Maybe you can come.
I think I'm too close to the microphone. Wipe everything out.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Purnamhansa Paripajikacharya Ashtotra Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shriva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Maharaj, and thank you to your on-site kirtan band. And welcome to everyone for tonight's Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami and friends. It is Friday, July 12th, 2024 in New York, and tonight Radhesha Prabhu will let us know what verse we're starting on, and in fact he will go on to read that verse as well. So glad you could be with us, Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Kendra.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are continuing our 33rd chapter of the 3rd canto with text 28. Tadeha parata posho pyakrashaschadhya sambhavat bhaumalayravachanna sadhuma iva pavakaha. Her body was being taken care of by the spiritual damsels created by her husband Kardama. And since she had no mental anxiety at that time, her body did not become thin. She appeared just like a fire surrounded by smoke. Purport. Because she was always in trance and transcendental bliss, the thought of the personality of Godhead was always carefully fixed in her mind. She did not become thin, for she was taken care of by the celestial maidservants created by her husband. It is said, according to the Ayurvedic medical science, that if one is free from anxieties, he generally becomes fat. Devahuti, being situated in Krishna consciousness, had no mental anxieties, and therefore her body did not become thin. It is customary in the renounced order of life that one should not take any service from a servant or maid, but Devahuti was being served by the celestial maidservants. This may appear to be against the spiritual concept of life, but just as fire is still beautiful, even when surrounded by smoke, she looked completely pure, although it seemed that she was living in a luxurious way. I don't have anything to say on this, Guru Maharaj. Maybe I'll turn it over to you right away, if that's all right.
I don't think I have anything I need to add here.
We'll continue to the next. Svangam tapo yogamayam muktakesham gatambaram daivaguptam nabubudhe vasudeva pravishtadhi. Because she was always absorbed in the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she was not aware that her hair was sometimes loosened or her garments were disarrayed. In this verse, the word Daiva Guptam, protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very significant. Once one surrenders unto the service of the Supreme Lord, the Lord takes charge of the maintenance of the devotee's body, and there is no need of anxiety for its protection. It is said in the second chapter, second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that a fully surrendered soul has no anxiety about the maintenance of his body. The Supreme Lord takes care of the maintenance of innumerable species of bodies. Therefore, one who fully engages in his service will not go unprotected by the Supreme Lord. Devahuti was naturally unmindful of the protection of her body, which was being taken care of by the Supreme Person. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Guru Dasa Jayadvaita Swami Niti Namane. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunatamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We were going over a verse in the pastime of Ajamil this morning, and Yamaraj has begun his instructions to the Yamadutas. And Nopasidata, he tells them, don't go near the devotees. Previously, he said, don't even look at them. And he says, not only are you not able to approach them, but none of us are, Vayam. And Vayam refers to the 12 Mahajans he just mentioned. Srila Prabhupada translates it, neither Brahma nor myself can touch them. And it also says Vayaha, not even eternal time can touch the Vaishnavas. They are completely protected, Deha Gupta, by the Supreme Lord. When one takes shelter of the Supreme Lord, then one is freed from the necessity of the four: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Defending is most prominent. My grandma always used to quote that to me. She said, of the four, defending is the most prominent. Everyone is looking to protect themselves. Twice in Srimad Bhagavatam, once actually with Devahuti and once with Krishna and his friend in the pastime where they go out to fetch firewood. It's mentioned that the body is the most dear to all living entities. And Sandipani Muni, he tells the two boys, he says, because you have sacrificed your self-comfort for me, the body which is most dear, you've sacrificed that comfort. I'm very pleased with you. And so the devotee also, he's not concerned. In the Atma Nivedana section of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sharanagati bhajans, I think it's the first bhajan, he sings, Atma Samarpana Gila Bhiman Nahi Korubo Nijaraka Vidhan. That having surrendered completely to you, I no longer need to take care of I'm no longer hindered. In one translation, I'm no longer burdened, weighted down by the burden of false ego. It's a burden. People try to milk it. They try to experience joy in the sense of false ego, in the sense of identity. But when that's sacrificed and we're completely surrendered to the Lord, then that burden is relieved. We're no longer in charge of taking care of the body. Not that we neglect the body, but at a certain stage, then, as Guru Maharaj stated in our Caitanya-caritamrta class, Mahaprabhu didn't know whether the body was on or off. It becomes secondary. It's a matter of priorities. Guru Maharaj, I'd love to hear from you.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatani Rakshasyati Ti Vishvaso Upritve Vananam Tata. The devotee surrenders to Krishna, thinking Krishna will protect me and Krishna will maintain me. He's convinced of that. The materialists are they have to maintain themselves at by their own endeavors, and they're always in fear. What if this? What if that? But the devotee, Krishna will protect me. Krishna will. If he doesn't protect me, I'll die. That's also all right. What is that? Rakabi Marabi Yochitohar. You can kill me or you can protect me. I'm your servant. You can do with me as you'd like. But as far as any protection is possible, Krishna will protect me. In the second canto, we hear that the rivers are giving water, the trees are giving bark that you can use for clothing, the earth is giving a place to lie down. We're supplied with pillows in the form of our arms. So why do we have to go flatter some rich man? Everything is being supplied by Krishna's arrangement. One may say, well, that's in the forest, all these things are there. Wherever we go, Krishna will can supply. There's a story that Prabhupada told that there was a Kumbh Mela, they have these huge gatherings, thousands and millions literally of people gather. And some people were attending, and one old lady was crying, looking out at the crowds of pilgrims. She was crying. Her son or young man asked her, "Mother, why are you crying?" No, how will I feed all these people? How will they eat? How will all these people eat? So the boy laughed. He said, "Mother, wait till evening." So then it's evening. So, Mother, where have all these people gone? And they all had some place. At Kumbh Mela, millions of people gather, but in the evening, everybody's got a spot somewhere. There's cooking fires everywhere. Everybody's got something. So it's God's arrangement that there's something for everyone. Prabhupada gives the example that before the child is born, there's no milk in the mother's breast. And as soon as the child is born, supplied. The elephants are getting their ton of sugar. The ants are getting their few grains of sugar. So Krishna's arrangement is there for every living being. So why not for the devotees? So in this way, the devotee remains confident. And that's part of, we talked about, my mind a lot is on Vanaprastha Sannyas. This progressive realization that Krishna will take care of me. I don't have to worry. The Prabhupada came to New York with, what was it, a little bag of flat rice or something, some cereal, and 7 rupees. So that's not much of a cushion. But he was confident that Krishna will provide. Krishna will provide. So that's experienced here, that Devahuti, so far from making arrangements for her security or care, she wasn't even aware of what was going on. This is trance. She was absorbed in thinking of Vasudeva Pravishtati. Her consciousness was absorbed in Vasudeva. That means pretty much the world was out there somewhere. Her mind was absorbed.
Is it possible to use the microphone?
I don't have a microphone.
Okay.
We do have a microphone. Okay. Sometimes Her clothes are in disarray. She doesn't even know it. Her hair is in disarray. She doesn't even know it. In material consciousness, we're very careful about these things. Oh my goodness. But she wasn't even thinking of that, but Krishna was maintaining. Krishna was arranging for everything. So wherever we go, Krishna is there. He can maintain. Question? Yeah.
The people on Zoom hear you with the mic.
Excuse me?
Are the people on Zoom able to hear you with the mic?
Are the people on Zoom able to hear me with the mic? Well, this mic, the stand-up mic has nothing to do with them. They're hearing from.
No, but it's just sometimes they interfere.
Is the sound distorted or is it okay?
It's not
okay.
distorted.
Not distorted. We're okay. Thumbs up. A couple of thumbs up. Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
We have a question in the chat, if that's all right. Praveen Krishna Prabhu basically takes from the first purport we read, saying, living luxuriously in the renounced order of life, is it that a woman in the renounced order can live luxuriously, since it says that she looked completely pure, although it seemed that she was living in a luxurious way?
Yes, I have some quotes about this in the upcoming Vanaprastha book. The Prabhupada gave some, when the husband takes sannyas or dies, then traditionally the wife leads a life of serious austerity. We see in the life of Vishnu Priya Devi, not to be imitated, that she was chanting so many rounds, and for each round she'd put aside a grain of rice. At the end of the day, she'd cook those grains and that would be it. That's how much she would take. So that's, of course, extraordinary, but austerity was the rule. When our late god sister Jamuna Devi was establishing something of an ashram, Prabhupada, well, let me find it for you. It'll just take a couple of minutes. Not even a couple of minutes, I should have it for you.
While you're searching for it, Guru Maharaj, I was just curious if I can extend it to everyone to see if anybody else has any ideas what verse Srila Prabhupada is referencing in the second chapter, the second canto. The only verse I see that Srila Prabhupada quotes more than just here would be the very last verse, but it doesn't seem to directly deal with protecting those. Maybe I'll just put it out there, and now I turn it back to you, Guru Maharaj, for this quote from Jamuna.
Okay, we've got the file, and we're waiting for it to load, and it doesn't seem to be loading. Why is that? Okay, well, I will. That's very strange. It's not supposed to do that. Of course, it's not supposed to do that. Oh, I see. Maybe it's already open somewhere. No, okay, well, I'm not going to troubleshoot it here. The Prabhupada gave some different instructions about this, some to Govindadasi when her husband left, some to Jamuna Devi. She was doing an ashram for retired women, and here now it's come up. One moment. We will be there presently, I hope. The theme of it is that Prabhupada spoke of a quite austere life for ladies in that situation. Now, here we go. When the husband takes the renounced order of life, namely sannyas, the wife is to return home and become a saintly woman, setting an ideal for her children and daughters-in-law, and showing them how to live a life of austerity. This is 423.20 purport. And then Prabhupada, in another purport, the same purport says, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Vishnupriya, although only 16 years old, also took the vow of austerity due to her husband's leaving home. And then Prabhupada tells what I basically just told about her cooking. Even today in India, Prabhupada writes, widows or women whose husbands have taken sannyas follow the principles of austerity, even though they live with their children. And I've seen that. Prabhupada wrote to one female disciple, still young, whose husband had left, that she should live like a chaste Hindu widow. He wrote, there are many ideal young Hindu widows who do not dress nicely at all, do not comb the hair, take bath 3 times daily in the Ganges, wear white sari, and are engaged 24 hours a day in chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And then Prabhupada cited the example of Vishnupriya again and said that although she's the goddess of fortune, just see how much austerity she underwent. And he advised this lady, I think you should follow the footsteps of Srimati Vishnupriya Devi. And there's more quotes along that line. So it's notable that austerity is not just for the men, and that men are not exempt from austerity. It's not that women are supposed to live like saintly Vishnupriya, and the men are supposed to live like kings, Maharaj. The norm for the vanaprasthas, sannyasis, is austerity. Austerity means accepting voluntary inconvenience for the sake of spiritual advancement. So again, we're in Kali Yuga. We're not as powerful as in previous ages, but this idea of austerity, or this ideal of austerity, is recommended. And again, according to what's feasible. Not that, according to what's feasible. But you can see here how Prabhupada's really not recommending a life of comfort and so on. Even while living at home with the children, the elderly lady is living a life of austerity. And I've seen this in India. You can see widows who are living at home, but they're living like sadhus. They're doing bhajan, chanting so many rounds a day, not eating very luxuriously, and setting, as Prabhupada said, an ideal example for the other members of the family. So the Prabhupada said about Vishnupriya, more than a sannyasi, that the saintly widow or saintly lady in retired life may be more than a sannyasi by her behavior, by her realization. Is that okay? Did that answer? Oh, that was an online question. Yes.
And regarding online questions and responses, Praveen Krishna Prabhu has supplied the verse that I put out the question, what verse is Srila Prabhupada referencing? So it's 225. Chirani kim patanti dishanti bhiksham. I won't read the whole thing. Translation is, are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees, which exist for maintaining others, no longer give alms and charity? Do the rivers, being dried up, no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountain now closed? or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered soul? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth?
Thank you.
And we have another comment in the chat. This is from Saraswati Devi regarding Devahuti's opulent living. I read this following verse in Srimad Bhagavatam regarding material position improvement, and I'm a little unsure about material opulences or a situation increasing with spiritual advancement, as normally material wealth is an impediment for those who want to advance spiritually. This is 7.3.13. The word bhutyai means for increasing opulence, and the word shreyase refers to ultimately returning home back to Godhead. In spiritual advancement, one's material position improves at the same time that the path of liberation becomes clear and one is freed from material bondage. If one is situated in an opulent position in spiritual advancement, his opulence never decreases. Therefore, such a spiritual benediction is called bhuti or vibhuti.
Well, we'd have to look at the verse being referred to, of course. 7.3.13. Brahminical culture and the cult protection of cows can be increasingly glorified, and thus all kinds of material happiness, opulence, and good fortune will automatically increase. Bhavaya shreyase bhutyai. Then, let's see where that's coming. Bhutyai, yes. So that means that sometimes, let's see. It's not that every devotee who advances in spiritual life becomes wealthy or materially very opulent. The Goswamis went the opposite direction. They started out materially opulent and wound up living like beggars. So it's not that this is the fruit of renunciation or engagement in Krishna consciousness that you become healthy, wealthy, and wise. Wise, we hope. Healthy, maybe. Wealthy may or may not be. So Prabhupada quotes or says, if a devotee advances in spiritual consciousness, this is the same purport, and thus becomes materially opulent also, his position is a special gift from the Lord, and such opulence is never to be considered material. So it's an if. The Lord may give opulence. He gave Dhruva Maharaj opulence. He gave Sudama Vipra opulence. He didn't give everyone opulence. But sometimes if the Lord gives material opulence, that's a gift from the Lord, and that shouldn't be considered material. If we see that some devotee has some material opulence, we shouldn't be envious. Oh, he's living so opulently. Ooh. And really, we wish that we were living so opulently. That should not be there. But the Lord, if a devotee is opulent in some way, oh, that's Krishna's gift, Krishna's mercy. And he uses it for Krishna. That's the idea. Hare Krishna.
I had a question, Guru Maharaj. These things all kind of tie together. The verse in the second chapter, 225, and your statement that sometimes Krishna may not protect, and the person can be killed according to the Lord's desire. And then because I was thinking in this context, that according to Ayurveda, if one is happy, one is stout. And I was thinking of Jayādvaita, who, he's eating the burnt remnants, and his body is very powerful. So we have these examples of Devahuti and Jayādvaita. We have various examples in Shastra, but in our experience, we only have the other side, or at least within my experience, I should say, I only have the other side of this, where if the body is neglected, it seems to fall apart right away. And so I'm just trying to understand, when we see these Shastric statements, but we don't see it verified in our experience, how we can understand the Lord's protection in that way. I guess this is go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then we have to understand from Shastra, from hearing. We may not see it, but it can happen like that. It can happen like that. Even sometimes we do. This is within our experience. Someone doesn't eat, he's fat. We see that some people, just by breathing air, they become fat. So Krishna may maintain someone even if he's not eating very opulently, very luxuriously. Still, he may not become emaciated. He may live nicely.
That's good enough for me. Thank you, Maharaj. There's a question from Tulsi Toshini Devi. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everybody. Please accept my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. In my personal, I just speak from my personal experience. My relationship didn't work out, and I'm a single mom with my daughter, and it's weird because I'm in an age that anyway, it's I mean, not for the modern society. They would say, "Oh, come on, you're still young, now you can find someone." But I know from Srila Prabhupada's perspective, it's I should just be celibate and transition to Vanaprastha and all that. But at the same time, I'm working. I still have to work. I'm still have a foot in the Grihastha ashram because I have to supply for my daughter and everything. So it's really interesting how it's not always easy to find clearly what Krishna wants. But I've kind of asked and pray to have signs and hints. And anyway, it's kind of personal things, but in clear, I got my menopause really young because I got traumatized when my daughter, something happened with my daughter, and I kind of lost her. And I got my menopause really young, so I thought, oh, I cannot have children anymore, so this is it, Anyway, different signs like that, and it's a good way to kind of just surrender to whatever Krishna's wills will be, and I just try to live a simple life, although nowadays it's more and more expensive to live just a simple life even, and especially when you have a child. And but somehow Krishna, I find that he protects me, and he provides, and I think the more I get the money, the Lakshmi, to serve him, the more he gives. This confirms the verse that Saraswati Devi just shared. It's just personal share here. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We have a comment from Venkatesh Prabhu that His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj would hardly eat once a day, but would roar when speaking and wasn't thin or weak at all. Tulsi Toshini Devi, are you lined up in Srimad Bhagavatam on text 30? Would you like to read the next verse?
Sure. Okay, let me get it.
And Saraswati Devi replies to the Gaur Govinda Maharaj comment. She says he would only eat simple khichdi once a day.
Wow. Evam sa kapiloktena margena chiratah param atmanam brahma nirvanam bhagavantam vapaham. My dear Vidura, by following the principles instructed by Kapila, Devahuti soon became liberated from material bondage and achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Supersoul without difficulty. 3 words have been used in this connection to describe the achievement of Devahuti: Atmanam, Brahmanirvanam, and Bhagavantam. These refer to the gradual process of discovery of the absolute truth, mentioned here as the Bhagavantam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead resides in various Vaikuntha planets. Nirvana means to extinguish the pangs of material existence. When one is able to enter into the spiritual kingdom or into spiritual realization, one is automatically free from material pangs. That is called Brahma Nirvana. According to Vedic scripture, Nirvana means cessation of the materialistic way of life. Atmanam means realization of the supersoul within the heart. Ultimately, the highest perfection is realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is to be understood that Devahuti entered the planet which is called Kapila Vaikuntha. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets predominated by the expansions of Vishnu. All the Vaikuntha planets are known by particular name of Vishnu. As we understand from Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Ananta means innumerable. The Lord has innumerable expansions of his transcendental form, and according to the different positions of the symbolical representations of his 4 hands, he is known as Narayan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, etc. There is also a Vaikuntha planet known as Kapila Vaikuntha, to which Devahuti was promoted to meet Kapila and reside there eternally, enjoying the company of her transcendental son. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Vinanjana Shalakaya Chakshuramilikam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Kadamba Kanana Swami Nitinamine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Gurave Jayādvaita Swami Nitinamine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sundari Pastutyadi Sitarine. So here Srila Prabhupada explains nicely that nirvana is like the cessation of material suffering. But higher than that is the realization of the supersoul within the heart. And higher than that is the realization of to get to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or in a different form that he has, because he has innumerable forms. So ultimately is to revive our personal relationship with the Lord and our love for him through devotional service. This is what I have. Please, Maharaj, if you want to comment more.
No, good. Labante Brahmanirvanam Vartate Viditatmana. This name Brahmanirvana word is used. Nirvana, of course, we're used to in Buddhist contexts. The snuffing out of existence practically. But here Brahmanirvana, the extinguishing of material existence because one is absorbed in spiritual existence. Brahma means the spiritual platform. So the Prabhupada mentions Brahmanirvana and Atmana and Bhagavantam. So Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavanti, Shabdyate. 3 levels of spiritual advancement. The personal preliminary platform, then the understanding of the super soul, and finally dedication to the personality of Godhead. If one achieves the personality of Godhead, then automatically Brahma Nirvana is achieved realization of super soul is achieved. Everything's probably gives the example, if you've got a $500 note and you've got $100, you've got $50, you've got everything already included. So if one has realization of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, and all lesser realizations included in that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. We have a comment. This is from, Saraswati Devi as something from last class. Maybe you can unmute yourself and you can speak it, if you don't mind.
Pranams. Yes, I was just hoping if, I know it was quite, Maharaj did explain it, but this, I found the context of my question. It was Caitanya-caritamrta Adi 2.52, and it says the three Purushas, Karna Dakshaya Vishnu, Garbha Dakshaya Vishnu, and Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu, all have a relationship with the material energy called Maya, because through Maya they create the material cosmos. Because all of them are somehow attracted to the affairs of the material energy, they can be said to have some affection for Maya. But the transcendental position of Sri Krishna himself is not even slightly touched by Maya. His transcendental state is called Turiya, or the fourth dimensional stage. So I know this can't be true, but it sort of seems as if those Purusha avatars are tinged with Maya, but that can't be true because they're all transcendentally situated, so they can't really be contaminated or tinged with Maya. Hare Krishna.
Their business is with Maya. What's the extent of their connection? Mahavishnu glances over the material energy. Well, that's not such a big deal. No one's going to take you to court because you glanced over. So the Mahavishnu glances at the material energy. That's the whole extent of it. And then the glance is carried by Lord Shiva. He directly consorts with the material energy. But Vishnu himself, it's really a distant matter. He glances over the material nature. Sa aikshata, sa srijata. So it can be said he has some attraction. What is that attraction? That Maya will help him for giving some facility for the conditioned souls. It's not that he's going to sport with the material energy and enjoy pleasure from some kind of gratification through material gratification. But it's this function of creation, Shrishti, this creation of the opportunity for the conditioned souls to receive material bodies and either gratify their senses or make spiritual progress. So the functions of all the Purusha avatars are in relationship to Maya. So there's some connection, but it's so distant. It's so distant. So we can give the example. I don't think anyone will mind that our temple president, he's directing the activities of so many ladies, but he's not involved with the ladies. He's not carrying on some kind of relationship. And typically he has someone who's handling the matter for him. He's not personally interacting and telling all the girls, no, I want you to do this. There's some intermediary, but it's his business. He has to engage the men, he has to engage the ladies, he has to engage everyone. But he's not personally getting involved with their, with some sort of relate. In our case here, he has a wife. He doesn't need anyone else. So there's no contamination, or there's no thought, let me enjoy it. It's just this is our purpose. We have to get the temple affairs handled nicely, and we want everyone to be engaged. And so he's giving some distant direction. He's giving some distant direction. No, Prabhupada would give some, let's go there, because nobody will say, well, maybe, I don't know. But Prabhupada also, he'd give some direction for the ladies. You do this, you can do that. But he wasn't thinking now I'd be somehow enjoying the service of this lady or that lady. All these ladies are doing whatever I want them to do. No, it's just service, just serve, and that too at a distance. There was one occasion, sort of a period in Prabhupada's career, he had husband and wife serving him, and then the husband started a temple in Honolulu. And the wife wanted to stay on and continue to serve Prabhupada. Said no. Prabhupada said no. He said, and then because she was eager to serve, but Prabhupada said, no, you're fully qualified. You're a nice cook. You're a good typist. You're a good this. You're a good that. Only one problem, that I am sannyasi and you are a young girl. And so Prabhupada, I think, worked overtime actually to make sure that he got himself another servant, male, and that this servant went and joined her husband, the previous servant. So Prabhupada wasn't interested to have nice girls serving him. That wasn't his. Other people may have been interested. They wanted to become grihastas and have a nice girl assisting him. But Prabhupada had no such interest. But still, he would direct the girls. You can do book distribution, you worship the deity, you can sing, you can do this, you can do that. But it was distant. He wasn't personally involved in this, that, and the other thing. So Mahavishnu, he's distantly engaging the material energy, but that's his business. Krishna has no such business. He's not engaged in seeing to the affairs of creation. And I mentioned in my book, I was sort of, as a child, what is God doing with, is he like pulling strings? He's sitting on a throne somewhere and directing all the affairs of the world. It's like, what's the picture here? And the picture is given in Bhagavatam that he's doing everything through the Purusha avatars, and then they're doing everything largely through the actions of the material energy. So Parasya Shaktir, what is that? Vividaiva Shruyate, then Natasya Karyam Karanam Shrividyate. He doesn't have anything to do. He doesn't personally have to oversee closely the affairs of the material energy side. Should they just glances, and that's enough. So the Purusha avatars have their business in relationship to the material energy. Krishna has no such business. His relationship is with the cows, with the gopis, with the cowherd boys, with Nanda Yashoda. Nothing to do with the universes and creation and expanding the elements of the material energy, all of these things that we've read about in second and third canto. Krishna doesn't get involved in that stuff. That's the business of the Purusha avatars. They're explicitly expanded for handling the affairs of the material energy. And yet, they're aloof from the material energy also. Turiya, they're in the fourth dimension. I hope that's okay.
Yes, we have in the comments. Saraswati Devi says, "Thank you. I understand now." And
Yes.
in today's verse as well, even Devahuti, Brahma Nirvana Sukha, if the living entity takes shelter of the Lord, then they're also freed from this material contamination and association. So,
what to speak of the Lord, even the devotees are freed from the contamination of the material energy. So what to speak of Krishna? Good point. Thank you. Something Tulsi does before we close.
Okay.
Just wanted to ask about this point. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that Devahuti is going to Vaikuntha planet.
Yeah, she goes to a Vaikuntha planet.
But she has like a parental relationship.
Yeah, she's on the Vaikuntha planet where Lord Kapila Dev is there. We don't hear much about such Vaikuntha planets. Usually it's Narayana, Vasudeva, Padumna, Nirvata, Sridhar, so on. But here there's a Kapila Vaikuntha and she's there worshipping her son. We don't know more than that.
But I don't think, judging by the previous commentaries, I don't think we get the impression that it's a Vatsalya mood in the Vaikuntha situation. I think it's achieved. Yeah.
It doesn't say that she worships her son, but does she worship him as her son? That's not stated.
Do you have, is your in-house band available for another round?
We've got an orchestra.
All right.
Okay. Who's leading? Okay.
Tulsi is leaving tomorrow.
Hmm?
Tulsi's
leaving tomorrow, so he'll lead kirtan today.
He's going to kirtan.
Should be very soft. Massage legs very soft. You can. Or Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Nishatayine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Bhagavan Suparipad Jakacharya Ashtotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai Navadip Tham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamanamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Jai Maharaj. Thank you. And thank you so much, Tulsi Prabhu and band. And thank you everyone for being here. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His Holiness Jayādvaita Maharaj Ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
And now we have to